it just got into this huge yelling match. And then he brought up this point where I mentioned this on the podcast before. He was like, you don't remember that time I told you that if you want to be a comedian, I'll send you to comedy college? I was like, Dad, what the fuck is comedy college? There's no such thing as comedy college, right? And his fucking dumbass too, by the way, he starts looking this shit up. And on the computer, right? You know what he pops up? He pops up
clowning school.
No, he pops up the theater program at like fucking Columbia or some shit. I was like, I have to still fucking get into Columbia. Yeah. It wasn't Columbia. It was some other Ivy League college. Yale. Yeah, I was like, I still have to get into the fucking Ivy League college. You don't just, it's a theater class. What the fuck are you talking about? And so, you know, even then, like he was so petty, he didn't want to admit that he was wrong. It was like, you were fucking wrong. And what I told him in that conversation was like, could you imagine how much further I could have been now if I didn't have to fight for your approval and fight for this and this? I was like, the only reason why you approve this is because I started making money. If I didn't make money, every time I came back home to Sacramento, you would talk about how disappointed you are in me. I was like, those are just facts. But I understand now that it's just because he doesn't want me to struggle. Like we grew up really poor, so he just sees me going down this route of being poor. It's personal to him. It's like I failed as a parent because my kid's poor. So I understand that. And then what happened? We had a breakthrough moment, which is the first thing he ever told me about his own life that he in 30 years I've never heard. He goes, well, I was 20 something at the time, but he was like, what I told him, I was like, you want a relationship with me and your older son, right? I was like, we'll never have that. I was like, you know why? Because you don't know how to talk to me like a human being.
There's no respect.
Yeah, there's no respect. Like you still talk to me like you give me, I was like, you don't talk to me, you give me commands. Do this, do that. Did you do that? But you never really ask how I'm doing. You never just call me to have a conversation. And with the first honest moment he has ever had with me, he goes, I can't do that because I've never done that in my whole life with my own parents. He goes, when I was younger, I had to take care of your parents because your grandpa fucked up, right? So when we were younger, we had a lot of stuff. Your grandpa just fucking threw away all his money. I had to be an adult real quick. Your older sisters moved to America. One other person denounced me. I don't have relationships because I can't talk to people because I've never done it. You're expecting me to do something I've never done my whole life. So now as an adult, I was like, if you don't understand that, I'm 60 something fucking years old. He goes, you have to learn how to bend your will and accommodate me because I can't change. He goes, I've never, ever, ever in my life had a conversation with your parents who passed away, my parents who passed away. We never had a conversation like, how are you doing? I can't do it.
Did he ever?
I was like, damn. That's the first moment I was like, oh shit. Like he's like this because of what his parents did to him. You know?
Do you say like, do you love me enough to try?
What I told him, I was like, I just said, when he said like he couldn't do it, I was like, all right.
Touche.
Yeah, because it was just facts.
Yeah,
At least he was honest about it. He goes, I can't do it. He goes, I can't do it. And I'm like, oh shit.
It's crazy that he could like to have that conversation, have to know about it and like suppress it enough and like really lean in on top of his relationship with his parents. Like he's just taking that as fact and like knowing that he is not in control of his life to break that, that relationship he had and not apply it to you. Yeah. Like it's
weird because I do feel, my mom told me too one day, she goes, you should feel really bad for your dad because he's somebody who desperately wants to have this tight-knit family, but he doesn't have the tools to do it. Yeah. He doesn't have the social tools. Like you have to feel bad for him because everything that he's doing right now to try to keep the family together is the same thing that he's doing to push you guys away. Right. And so he doesn't know what to do. So that's why he talks to me so I could talk to you because that's the closest that he can get to having a conversation with you. But now it's getting a lot better now. Like I've been talking to him. He's been able to joke about shit as we talk on the phone. And the funny thing is the connecting factor that allowed me to talk to my dad is when I talk shit about Mariel. This was like, he goes, oh, that's a problem. He goes, your mom is Mariel times 10. Right. And then I'm like telling my mom about some of the stuff that, she and I are arguing about. And my dad's cracking up. He goes, that shit's nothing, dude. Yeah. He was like, you saw your mom, dude. Your mom fucking hid in a dumpster once to get away because she was upset at me. She goes, oh, Mariel like closed the door. She goes, you remember that time your mom went into the squash patch in our backyard and laid in there for all night? And when she woke up, she had 70 mosquito bites on her face. I was like, dog. I was like, oh, your lady's crazy. So we're bonding over how much we fucking hate the people that we're in love with.
Right.
And so that's like our bonding factor right now. And that's, we found the little segue into us being able to connect on something, because we can't really connect on a lot of things, but what we can do is connect on how much our significant others piss us off.
Oh, good. Yeah, at least you have some angle in.
What about you and your dad? What's the besides basketball?
I think shit is we're still working on it. We're still working on it. We just, man, I just try to like, because I know what he's going to talk about, but it's so superficial that I try to give him more facts. So like, he's like, I can't believe, Trump has 50-60% approval rating. Like, how is that possible? Like, you're saying like 60% of Americans really want Trump. And I don't like talking about politics on, social media and all that shit. But I was like, Dad, you have to understand, like, what he said was, it's not our problem. And I even think, I don't know where I read this, like, it's not, Charlemagne the God said this. He said, it's not our problem. It came from China. China created the virus. Here, let me give you a bag with stimulus relief package and I'll make it all good. And this is how I'm showing you my leadership. On the surface, that looks like leadership. That's what you need. And then every single day we've been seeing Trump. We haven't seen anything from like Biden or Sanders or any other political figure. I mean, we do know that they are having these virtual town meetings and talking about Corona and this and that, but it's not enough to overcome the amount of times we see Trump saying some crazy ass shit. So it doesn't surprise me that people do think that Trump is doing a good job, even though it's like he's talking so much crazy shit. Yeah. Like, how do you not, like, I'm sure you've seen all those little fucking videos of like Trump saying this is a hoax. This is not a hoax. I knew this was a pandemic. You should have listened to me in the beginning. But the beginning said, you said this was a hoax and we got this under control. It's down to 0%. There's no cases of it. And now it's like 100,000. And now Dr. Fauci or whatever. Is that my phone?
That's my phone.
Oh, shit.
It's always my phone. Just to let you know, it's always my phone.
Yeah, Dr. Fauci, whatever, that doctor was saying, like, yeah, we're having 200 cases of the corona in the coming week. So, like, my dad just takes the tidbits and he can't expound on that at all. So I'm like, I have to like fill him in and be like, oh,
he's okay. Like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. And I sent him that article from, was it the Athletic Tribune? Is that someone knocking the door?
Is that Mariel? You come in. All right, just continue.
Oh, okay. Talking about Bing Gordon. I sent you that article, didn't I?
Yeah.
About his mental health and like he was like suicidal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I sent that to him. He's like, I really like this article. Thanks for sending it to me. And then we'll talk about mental health. I'm like, did you feel that? Did you have the pressures of that when you were playing basketball at Redlands and when you tried out, for the Knicks and all that stuff? And we got down into that. So I have to find these articles are similar to the topics that we talk about and be like, Dad, read this article, read it so we can talk about it. So that's kind of our into it. So you can understand how I discern things and how he can learn from me so I can learn from him. So very brief, concise shit.
Like, oh, that's how he thinks, or that's how he does things. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
Because you really want to know about his personal shit.
Right.
But then it's like, you could only get like a small little glimpse just by how he reads and interprets things. It's like, that'd be so funny too. Like, you just send him this film. It's like, hey, Dad, watch this film about this man who played basketball and has a Vietnamese and black son.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, kind of reminds me of you, boy.
Yeah.
Anyways, like,
damn it. Yeah, it's like I know that I have to like really, fan it out for him. But like, no, this is. If that were the case, like I was showing him Vinegar, it's like, this is our life.
Yeah,
like let's talk about it.
He probably wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
Maybe he just does that because he doesn't want to feel all the shit that happened. He just kind of like pushes it all the way fucking down.
That's of a generation, man. Men of a certain age, yeah.
And all that shit seeps out eventually. Like even my dad's stuff, it all came out in that one huge moment where I literally told him, like, you fucked me up, And then he was like, well, at the end of that conversation, I think the part that kind of really softened me up, he was like actually, that's the first time I ever saw him cry in front of me. He's never cried. Like, I'm talking about, I've seen shit where he's bawled because my brother hurt his feelings.
Really?
And I've done some shit, my dad's just like, But the first time I ever hurt his feelings was that conversation. And then he just said, like, I'm a good father. Like, I did the best that I could. And he started tearing up. And I was like, fuck, I hurt this guy's feelings, man.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
So complex and so obtuse and just weird men, man.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of rough, man. I mean, hopefully I won't be like that when I'm older. Shit, I'm trying not to be.
Yeah, I think that's like the base level. Like, I hope I don't turn out crazy like my father. And then I could imagine my dad being like, because there were times where my dad would wait for his father, like, hey, I'm gonna pick you up from the house to go fishing. You know, dad's like, you know, canceling plans with his friends, and he's just sitting on this bench in front of his house out in the middle of Victorville. He could watch the sun just go across the horizon, and his dad never shows up. And his mom comes out. It's like, come on, boy, your dad's ain't gonna come. Let me cook you some dinner. Sad, dude. You know, like, he's like, I'm not gonna be my dad. I'm never gonna do what he did to me.